Warning. It is the opinion of the Forestry Productions LLC and the Working Perspectives podcast that we should inform you that some of the language used in this recording could possibly be considered offensive. You have been warned, so if you decide to listen to the recording, then don't complain about the language. Hi, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Today we're going to talk to some real people about some real things, living real lives, doing real stuff. This is the Working Perspectives podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied today by JDub's favorite son, Justin Richardson, and our guest today is the one and the only John Derito. JDub, how you feeling, my man?
Feeling swell.
Man, you're looking swell. All right. Well, you can find all our content and all our stuff on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can hang out with us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And for Christ's sake, just please like and subscribe so my wife just leaves me the hell alone about doing this show. All right. Well, let's get this thing started. Let's go.
It's our objective to be effective by voicing societies. Working perspective, exploring your day and how you get paid. Launching a new episode every Tuesday. Your day can transform while we inform with new episodes available on every platform. So check out our line and how we get live. Then do us a solid. Share and subscribe. Would you share it? Would you share it? Would you share it? Working Perspectives.
All right, Monsieur JDub. Let me tell you about this guy. All right. So there's one place that we've talked about on the show. I mean, and we've had guests on the show previously from this place, and it's the Renzo Gracie PA Academy in Hatfield. Let me tell you, this place just churns out winners. Right?
That's what I was just going to say, just pumping out people.
You've been on, like, you've been the co-host for Padilla, right?
Yep.
You were the co-host for Aaron Rosenthal. You're the co-host for Chad Kilhefner, right?
Yep.
And now you're the co-host for John, right? Like, this is like, and like Pete went there, Cabot went there, right? You know all those jokes. You know what I mean? So it's
everyone,
like, yeah. It's dude. It's and
Love
like it's just one of those places where that we've talked about it, and we talked about it a lot on other episodes where it's like the culture of the place. Everyone there is like really tight and really respectful and really good. But one of like I would say the custodians of that culture is our guest today. John has been around. He's one of the guys at the gym. If you were at the old building, right, and you're a member of the gym, that means you've been around, because we've been at the new building for like 12 years. So like when we were at the old building, and don't get it wrong, the old building wasn't a dungeon by any means, but it was like, you know, it had its characters and it had its characteristics. But like if you're at the old building, that's where like it all started. So we started in like one little room, right, that grew into, they added an addition onto this already massive like gym, right? Then he ended up taking control. Like he had more like, you know, people coming in for him than he would. Like he had more customers and more people like signed up for his gym than the actual gym. They ended up taking over the actual gym. Then he ended up leaving that gym and coming to the new one. So like if you've been along for that ride for the whole time, like you've seen some stuff and you've been a part of some things, but you've also helped breed a culture of like respect and unity and camaraderie. But like also like, you know, like when you go there, you can't go there and be like, all right, I'm just going to take tonight off and slack. Like you have to go there knowing like, all right, it's time to fucking go. Time to put the hat on.
It's a place that demands excellence.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like, but you want that because you want to put yourself through.
That's what you came there for.
Exactly. And it's honestly like, the lives it's changed and the people it's helped. And like, I remember being like, when I was like single and everything like that, like you depend on this place. You know what I mean? Like, it's just something, it becomes part of your identity.
It's a healthy escape.
It's, the healthiest, man. I can't preach from the rooftops of how much like it helps with depression and anxiety and anger. A lot of the guys there, believe it or not,
no.
Yeah, one of the common traits, believe it or not, one of the common traits of the members of the Renzo Gracie PA Academy is some of them have some anger issues. Let me tell you. Yeah, you wouldn't know it though, but they're calm, because they're so like calm and docile. But also like they come there and like, it's, you spend years with these people and you really get to know them and talk to them and you see them at the gym. And honestly, John was one of the guys like, like I had seen him in passing for years, but then, like 10 years ago or whatever, we just started talking at the gym. And now it's like, every time I go in there, I'm like, oh, John's here. And it's like, It's like, like you're seeing your buddy, you know what I mean? And I always love that about like going there, and he's like, I'll tell you, a class guy, class A, you know what I mean? He's also well aware of the budding legend that is Dental Bill. We'll talk about it a little bit later. But man, I'll tell you, I've said this before and I'll scream from the rooftops. I judge the quality of the show by the people who listen and want to participate. And it really, really does. Because I'm not going to lie, when you are creating content and putting yourself out there, it comes with a lot of self-doubt and a lot of criticism and a lot of like confidence. It really attacks your confidence in your ideas. And like, do you know what's going on? And there's some days you're like, God, this is tough. And why am I doing this? And all these things. But when you find out like there's good people that you consider like, that you really hold on a pedestal, that they're listening to the show and they enjoy it and they want to be a part of it, it really makes like what we're doing here seem like worthwhile, and really helps with like the mission that we have. So when I found out John was one of those guys that listens to the show and likes the show and is supporting the show, I was absolutely thrilled that he said he would decide to come on, and it means the world to me that he's here. So I know he's doing great, and I can't wait to get into everything that he's doing. And I'm super excited he's come on. But John, before we get started, I would just like to ask you, how do you like your Cheetos? Crunchy or puffed?
Crunchy.
Damn right, you like them crunchy. Dude, crunchy. Team Renzo is 100% on the crunchy train. I'll tell you that right now.
Everybody says crunchy.
Yeah, crunchy's the best.
Dude, I don't, Justin, if you have something, like if you really like them crunchy and you're just saying puffed to say puffed, dude, like, be honest.
I like a good cheese ball that comes in like the barrel with the purple top, the Utz cheese ball bin. Yeah. I like those. They are the best form of cheese product.
They're better when you're drunk. The puffy ones are easy. God. Yeah, when you're drunk, they're better.
Dude,
they like dissolve like cotton candy.
Oh, did you ever do like, dude, I remember like being drunk one time and like you go to Wawa after the bar and you come home and like I remember I bought like a big bag of salt and vinegar chips, right? And like I polished off the whole thing, right? And like, oh, bro, I was like, I can't drink water without this thing being like, you know what I mean? It was, it was worth it, but it was also like, whoo, your taste buds are just fried. But John, man, thanks for coming on, brother. How are you?
Thanks. I'm great. Thanks for having me, guys. Awesome. Hey, man. I love the show.
You're the best.
Great to be here.
Thanks for saying that. So I want to get into this and I want to get started because we got a lot to cover. So John, you were born in East Falls, PA, right? Big fan of East Falls. So when I was fighting and I was living in Manayunk at the time, right, there was a barber shop in East Falls, and it's probably still there. It's called Uppercuts. It's on Queen Lane, right? And I would go there before every fight and get my haircut. Well, I would like, we have a saying like, look good, feel good, fight good, win, right? So I would always have like a new shirt, new shoes, and a haircut when I would go to a fight and like weigh-ins and stuff. So I got my haircut at this place, looking sharp. Mainly like the haircut was good. The dude, Matt, shout out. fan of the show, listener to the show. But he gave a good cut, but also it was called Uppercuts. Like, come on, is that not the best name for a barbershop ever? But so you grew up in East Falls, and then when you were 7, you moved to Abington, right? Yes. And then you would end up doing Abington Public School all the way through high school, right? Yes. Mm-hmm. And when you're in high school, that's when you started what would be your lifelong love, which is soccer, right?
I actually started soccer when I was about 6.
Okay.
About 7. As soon as I moved from the city to the suburbs,
yeah,
I didn't know what soccer was when I lived in the city. There was no, there's nothing there to play soccer.
Yeah.
So then I moved to the Abington area, Roslyn, Abington.
Yeah.
And I was walking up the street and I seen these kids kicking this ball around. I'm like, what the fuck are these kids doing?
Like, why aren't they using their hands? What's wrong with these kids?
So I think a week later I was at school and they were playing at recess. I was a kid. And I remember touching the ball and saying, I like this. I liked it from jump. I was good at it right away.
Yeah.
And, I'm Italian. It's in my blood to play soccer.
Sure.
I'm a soccer player by nature. So,
yeah, I'm a fellow Italian as well. Found out this year. Didn't know. Found out my mom did a 23andMe. Found out that my grandmom was stepping out on a couple people.
Hey, shit happens.
You like the spicy meatball apparently.
My mom did it, and it came back, and she's 98% Irish.
Did she not like?
She kind of knew, but she had an offer to do it for cheap. And she's like, "Sure, I want to try it."
Yeah,
and she's just full blood Irish woman.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, my mom has done it, my sister has done it, and I think my older brother's done it. So there's really no need for me. Like, what else am I gonna find out? But what had happened is that my sister did it first, right? And like we had always been told what we were like. My mom, like, because the dude she thought was her dad was German, so our whole lives we were told like we were German and Irish because my dad's like 100% Irish, was 100% Irish, right? So when my sister got back to 23andMe, she told all of us like, we don't have any German and it's all Italian, so. Who's mom's dad? Right. So
yeah, like what?
She ended up she ended up figuring it out, right? Then she ended up like reaching out to like her brothers, right, and cousins, and find out that we had a relative connected, and he fixed the Jake LaMotta Billy Fox fight. So
that's cool.
Just saying. Yeah. Shout out granddad, whoever you are. So nice. Okay, so you fell in love with soccer right away. So I'll say this, right? I've boxed and wrestled, baseball, like all of that. Really, boxing, wrestling kind of took over. But when I can't say, and Justin, I think you would agree with me, football was the best. If I could choose it, I would play like football, like on a fun team. I don't want to play like with some coach that ruins it for you. Right.
Yeah, like middle school football was the best. Like when it wasn't too serious and everyone was relatively the same size, but like we weren't all the same weight. It wasn't like 105s,
Yeah. No, yeah. And like we were all like, but it was serious like to us because it was our world at the time, right?
Yeah.
Like you wanted
we played I think we played 5 teams in our middle school league. But like in those 5 games, it was the most hype Friday there was.
Oh, it was the best. Yeah. So, but for you, John, soccer came in right away. What position do you play in soccer?
The left wing, left flank, left wing, left halfback, and
a
lot of running.
Dude, so you can run freaking like a freaking Ethiopian here in a marathon going on, huh?
I used to be. I'm getting, I John, still run. I still play.
Don't sell yourself short, buddy. I see you with your shirt off, pal, and you're a fucking Adonis. And don't let anybody tell you different, babe. All right? There's a lot of 20-year-olds that want your body, bub. You know what I mean? I'm just saying. You're a lucky guy. So maybe you're still doing the running pretty good. I don't know.
You're still playing soccer?
I am. Yeah. I am. I still play as much as I can. Probably about
play indoor?
At least, yeah. I play indoor and outdoor.
You play year round, don't you, John?
I play year round.
Yeah.
And I love it. I love the way it makes me feel. It's like, it's like any jiu-jitsu is the same way. It brings out the greatness, the great feeling that you get from doing a sport. Just that feeling. It's
and the camaraderie and the exercise. Dude, it's the best, right? It really, like, dude, I'll tell you what, one of the funnest things I liked at the gym is when we started doing the football games after jiu-jitsu, right? Like,
they were great.
And like, I remember Jordan being like, dude, it's just healthy competition, right? And like, you forget how great that is, because like, to be fair, when we're like boxing and stuff, like, that's competition too, but it's like on a different plane, right? Because it's really like a bit like you win, but you all like, you're losing a little bit every time too. You know what I mean? Like, and it's like a different type of competitiveness. But when it's like a football game or something, it's like, because it's more serious, I think, with like jiu-jitsu and boxing and Muay Thai, because it's like there's striking and you're hitting each other and it's more aggressive.
Well, yeah, you're not getting punched in the face.
Yeah, but with football, you're just out there like having a blast. You know what I mean? Like it's just so much fun. Dude, I'll tell you, I played in a bar league, soccer league, like maybe like 10 years ago. Dude, and I remember it being like, this is fun. Like soccer is a blast to play. Have you ever played, Justin?
Yeah, I played soccer until I was 14.
Oh, all right. I didn't know that. You freaking look at you.
Yeah, I was good. I played goalie. I had an undefeated season.
Awesome.
Scoreless, like a clean sheet for.
Yeah. Look at
nice.
you.
You got to be a little crazy to be a goalie. I always say that.
It was fun, yeah.
You're a little crazy.
Dude, by the time you get to like age 11, where like these kicks can literally blast your head off from these little 11-year-old kids, that's when you're like, this guy's a freaking nut job. You know what I mean? Like that's, but Justin, I do remember you saying this though, when we had your episode, which is available on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Work and Perspectives Podcast. But you did say, isn't soccer how your parents met?
Yeah.
Your mom and your stepdad.
Yeah. I played my stepbrother's team and my stepdad was his coach and like slipped my mom some like note after the game. And that's how it all started.
Look at you.
At the old football pitch.
Cool. Yeah. Nice.
Yeah, nice. I like soccer. I like watching it too. It's 45 minutes, no commercials. You get the British announcers.
Oh. Did you I have a buddy of mine, fan of the show, listener of the show. His name's Bill Madden, aka Screwball. He was a really good soccer player, and he's been massive obsessed with soccer his whole life. But he introduced me. I guess they do this thing where, and like the soccer fans in Europe, in England especially, different level. Like Eagles fans are the most nuts here, but like we're not starting riots and like bringing like flares into stadiums and going crazy and like
hooliganism is in their law book.
Yeah,
it is like crimes in the name of soccer passion is literally what like the defense is like I wasn't crazy, I was in the passion of a soccer game. And that's why I lit the trash can on fire.
Yeah. And that's why I smashed this guy's head through a window. You know, it's all for, because Chelsea lost to Man U. What are you going to do? Right.
It's filed under hooliganism.
Yeah. But so over there, those fans are nuts, but they have a show where it's like a soccer match, like a regular soccer match. And the people commenting are two fans, like two opposing fans. Just like sitting in the same room and like just going nuts on each other, right?
Like watching it together, basically.
Yes, exactly. And like the whole time they're just talking shit because like, dude, when you watch those like matches, they're singing the whole time. They're like going nuts, like the flags, like it's just crazy, right?
Yeah.
Like different level.
So you know how the ball goes into the stands and you're supposed to like give it back. Like you have to return the ball even as fans. And the guy's running towards the pitch. It's against Celtic. And the guy has the ball to give it to him to then inbound. And as soon as he gets close, he just throws it behind his head and gives him the finger.
It was so like the opposing guy was the away team was going.
The away team's coming to get the ball so they can inbound it. He's holding it for him like he's going to give it to him. And as soon as he gets close, he chucks it behind his head back into the crowd, just gives him the finger.
And the stadium just fucking erupted.
They love it. Yeah, they go nuts.
Yeah. That guy hasn't had to pay for a drink in 10 years since that. You kidding me? That's great. There's I just started watching this show. I didn't know if you guys seen it. Ted Lasso. Have you guys watched Ted Lasso?
No. I don't have Apple TV yet.
No,
I don't have it either. I got it from a friend of the show, listen to the show, Dave Bowers. Love you. But he inspired me to watch it. I'm not gonna lie.
It's good.
Fucking loved it. It's pretty good.
I like
what's his name?
Nice.
Jason Sudeikis.
Yeah, he's funny. I like him.
Talk about too, like out kicking your coverage. Oh my God. Olivia Wilde can forget about it. So either way, let's keep it moving. So John, you played soccer and did you play soccer in high school too?
I did. For a while. And then I just got, it's funny because I watched Michael's podcast.
Yeah.
And
thank you.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Oh,
and
you're the best.
The same thing was like I played sports for a while in high school, and then you get, especially I'm so old, like in the 70s, 80s, like you were an outcast. Like now you're an outcast if you do drugs. Before you were an outcast if you didn't do drugs when you were young. And I started getting into shit when I, just doing dumb stuff and hanging with the wrong crowd. And like, it got me away from soccer. And it was something I regretted, but it happened. And,
Oh, dude. One of the things that Mike said on his episode, which is available now on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. One of the things he said on his episode, which I wholeheartedly agree with, is that like he was saying, like when he was doing all that stuff, he wanted to impress the cool kids, right? And want to be one of the cool kids. And now those cool kids have drug addictions or, are in jail or dead or working at Arby's or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they're not the cool kids anymore because they did all that. Like, they wasted time instead of like striving for something like an accomplishment. They wasted time like trying to do drugs and be stupid. And I'll tell you, like, I couldn't agree more with that sentiment. I remember, and Justin, I think you would agree with us, like when we were coming up, drugs were the coolest, right? Like when you were in school, drugs are still winning a lot of races, we'll just say. But
the war on drugs is being dominated by drugs. Like we don't even come close to winning that. Drugs wins every day.
Oh, drugs is way undefeated in the war on drugs. They haven't lost a day.
They're still coming out with new drugs. Drugs are just
drugs are like video games, man. They're forever evolving and just always getting better, right? But no, go. What are you gonna say?
Just how much easier it is to get high on weed than it used to be. Like it's so like those vape pens and stuff. Like imagine school now. Like if you smoked weed at school when you were my age, like you reeked. Like you had to bring Visine and hand gel and cologne, and you had to be careful what you did with the smoke. And now you got a vape pen that you can hit while you walk down the aisle in Target. Like life is so much different. And it's
dude. I would say like
I'm just jealous and bitter. No, it's like back in my day, you had to smoke a bowl in the parking lot. If you were lucky, if you didn't get caught.
Well, also, I don't know if they still had it, but when we were in school, and I had gotten expelled for this reason, is they had a zero tolerance, right? They had a policy. It was called the zero tolerance policy. So if you were a minor and you were caught with any illegal narcotics or in possession and use of alcohol, you're automatically expelled. Zero tolerance. Right. So I got caught drunk at school and big deal. And then either way, then they and honestly, it was like, I think I was in the third quarter of my senior year and they still expelled me, so but look, I'm a high school graduate, so everyone can go fuck off, but I'm just saying, right. That can't exist now. Right. Just like, because every kid there probably has any kid that's 18 has the card, right, where you can just get the medical marijuana. Even if you're not 18, I bet a lot of kids' parents sign off on it. And honestly, I bet like pills like Adderall and Ritalin and all that stuff. Like, Ritalin was big when we were in high school, but like Adderall is just fucking running rampant now in high schools and colleges. I can only imagine. Right, like everybody and their mother and Vyvanse and all that stuff, they're just whacking that stuff down like candy,
Yeah, you can make the best meth out of that stuff too. So, that's another.
Yeah. Can meet meth. The only thing winning the war on drugs is big pharma, because that fucking Vicodin and Adderall is putting meth out of business. Yeah, but no, it's you're 100% right. So nice. But yeah, I'm with you, man. I agree. I had made some choices in high school that affected like the sports and stuff I was doing at the time, and I do regret it. I still do. And it's something, everybody lives with and deals with, but it's, it sucks because when you are that young, you're so stupid, right? And I remember like, dude, I remember like when the transition happened, because I have a buddy, fan of the show, listen to the show, named Ron Skotleski, right? And this dude is like one of the most successful, smartest. His wife is a former Miss Ecuador in the Miss Universe pageant, right? Like he's got like, he's my age and already is like a vice president of the company that he works at. Like the guy is just ultra successful, has like a, he has like a $700,000 home. You know what I mean? He has kids, have nannies, and like, he's just fucking Mr. Success, right? Business guy. He's who I go to for all my business stuff for the show. But either way, when we were in high school, I remember like he would call me and like, I would have been out the night before, like all whacked, smoking cigarettes and drinking. And he'd call me, be like, yo, what's up, man? I'm like, what's up? And he'd be like, dude, I just got done working out, right? I was doing like suicides and all this running and lifting. And I'm like, you fucking nerd. You know what I mean? But then like a couple years later in college, he's jack shredded with a 6-pack, still doesn't really drink because he's an athlete. And like chicks are just fucking adoring him. You know what I mean? Because then now it's cool to be like the jacked in shape, fit guy with a tight, pastel colored shirt. You know what I mean? And it's not cool to be the wastoid anymore that's drinking and partying all the time. You know what I mean? Where it's like there was that transition, and I saw that before my eyes. So yeah, but nice. Okay, so let's keep it moving. So after you graduated high school, John, where did you go from there? Like when you graduated, right? You went to work for your brother as a salesman, and you sold suits to stockbrokers in New York. So can you kind of give us an idea of like, how did you get started? I know it's with your brother, but like, how did you get in there? And like, how did the process work of like this job, like getting and selling and all that stuff?
It was kind of nightmarish at first because the stockbrokers are such assholes. I mean, these guys, I was going into Shearson Lehman. I was going into Gruntle. I was going into all these different
what years
brokerage houses. That was probably, let's say 1983, 1984, so 1985, 86, in the 80s.
So this is like what's the Charlie Sheen movie, Wall Street? This is like the Wall Street era, kind of like on the cusp of that. So
they were making a lot of money. They would buy suits. It was It was a crazy time. It was, you'd go in, you'd fit them, and just, I was learning the ropes. It was my brother's business, and, I was under his wing, and I would go in there and just sell, talk to them, measure them, but they were tough. I mean, real tough guys. It was really tough work in the beginning. And then I ended up loving it, of course. And I was there a long time. And my brother's gone now. God rest his.
R.I.P.
So, but it was an experience. It was an experience.
So you're going to the stockbrokers. This to me is like fascinating. It was one of those things where your brother's like saw a need, filled the need, and made some damn money. So he went to these guys. He's like, look, you guys are too busy to go to the suit shop and the tailor and all that. Let me bring that shit to you. It's really entrepreneurial as to what businesses are now. Like, look at Uber, look at, like Uber Eats and like you know what I mean? Like bringing the business to you. Like, look at a lot of like barbers now will travel to where you are to cut your hair. Like, it's all that like entrepreneurial spirit of like bringing the business to you. So he thought like, I'm going to go to these guys. I'm going to say, I'll measure you. I'll fit you. You pick out the one you want. I'll go get it and bring it back. You can order them and I'll have them ready to go for you when you need them. So you're looking sharp every day. Right. Is that kind of how it went?
Absolutely. That's the way it was.
So where was the business based out of? Was it in the city?
No, it was out of Newtown. He had a shop in Newtown that he, it was Doritos
Newtown, New Jersey?
No, Newtown, Pennsylvania.
Oh, okay. Where's that at? Is that like north?
It's actually, I'm trying to think what's close to it. Richboro. Ivy Land.
How far away are you from New York City in Newtown?
About an hour.
Okay.
Turnpike. Or you hit, just fly up, take 95 up, take 95.
So you're above the Poconos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. I know where you're at then. Nice. So you're not too far away, and like it's just a quick shot to the city and back when you need it kind of thing.
Yeah. It was definitely cool. We take the ride and hang out, talk, and then once we were there, it's business, and then it's business as usual, and you get there and it's crazy parking. The people are crazy. The parking is fucking unbelievable. People drive like New York drivers are the worst fucking drivers in the world. I mean, they're crazy. They're just crazy people.
They are nuts. Them too, and not just the drivers, but the bike guys, the cyclists up there. Those guys have a death wish every day. I don't know what they're thinking. Right?
Don't drive right in front of your car. They don't give a shit.
They do, they're the most reckless ones. They're like, fucking hit me. Fucking hit me, Here's a crazy law that I wish that they would implement here, right? Have you been to Europe, John?
I have. I played soccer, actually, when I was about 14, 15 years old. I went over there with a team from the U.S.,
Nice.
And I played in Holland, Germany, France, and Belgium.
Nice.
We did a tour of Europe to play. We got the living shit kicked out of us. We were from U.S. We were good in U.S., by that standard. Yeah. And then we got over there and we learned what soccer was really about because we got the living shit knocked out of us.
Yeah. You were playing soccer here. They're playing football over there, right?
It was. They were very physical. They knew.
Everyone hated you guys.
So good.
Everyone was out to get you. The refs didn't like you. Yeah.
No.
But you were on like a travel team. You must have been like a travel all-stars then if you're going to Europe, right? Like a high-level travel.
It was a good team. We had a good team. And, it was one of them things where our coach had a connection and he's like, I think we should take a trip to Holland and, Germany, France, and see everything. And we'll do this, we'll do that. We did fundraisers and all, but we did it to, I think we got help from different organizations, but we did it. And I mean, it ended up being so cool. It was a really great trip over to Europe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome, man. Nice. So all right, cool. So damn, that's pretty cool. So reason I brought that up is that when I was in Europe, right, I've been to Italy, Germany, and Albania, and Turkey, right? And when I was in Italy and Albania, the Europeans, they drive like fucking maniacs.
They're nuts.
They are like that. I don't think they have laws, like road laws, or like the way the Italians drove and the Albanians. I don't think there is a law over there. Like, no one obeyed traffic laws and no one was getting pulled over. Right. So I don't know what was going on, but nothing like they could just do whatever they want. And no one you know what I mean? Like it was all crazy. So either way, the reason I brought that up is because even though Albanians drive crazy, right? There's never any accidents. And here's the reason why, right? They have a law when you have to have insurance and everything. I think that's universal most places, but they have a law in Albania that if you get into an accident, right, you lose your license for 6 months. Right. So even though they're driving like crazy, everyone is heads up over there. Right. Like, cause you don't want to lose your license because of getting in an accident. Because even if you get hit, it doesn't matter if you caused it or not. Get hit or you hit somebody, you lose your license for 6 months regardless. So you don't want to get hit. You don't want to be the one hitting anybody else. So even though they drive like they're nuts, they're sharp. So if they had a law like that here, one, it'd be impossible to enforce. But two, right, like there'd be so many less accidents, right? And like like people could drive like assholes, right? But then there'd be less people like on their phones and I guarantee it. You know what I mean? Like, I think there'd be less accidental like less like, you know, on your phone.
Every day there's an accident on 76. Every day. Every day.
95 too.
Like, what are you doing?
I know.
Every day.
Did you guys ever go out on 422 out there by Collegeville?
Every day.
Fucking nightmare out there, bro.
Crazy.
It's 2 lanes, and somehow there's a car like upside down. And you're like, what? It's straight. The road's straight. It literally has one turn right where like Oaks is. And it'll be like a car upside down. It'll be like, there's only one turn.
It's a straight shot, guys. Yeah. No, I'm with you, dude. It's nightmare. Dude. So, but either way, so John, you're in Newtown, right? So how it would work was like you would go. Step one is you got to get the client, right? So you guys would like maybe like word of mouth or something. Someone would contact you, or you would reach out saying like, "Hey, this is what we're doing. Are you interested in having fresh suits? You know, whenever you want, and we get them to you, and your whole week set with your fresh suits that you picked out, tailored, measured just for you, shiny shoes, all that, right?" And they would reach out to you. You would then go up to them. Step one is you get their measurements. Right. Mm-hmm. You talk to them. Then they pick out like the stock. Like, did you have like a catalog that you would show them and they would like pick out
swatches? We would do the old swatches to see what kind of material they wanted. We also did custom shirts, and like a lot of people didn't do custom shirts back then. But we did custom shirts with French cuffs, and French cuffs were real fucking popular back then.
I wish they were back. That's the Wolf of Wall Street look, right? The French cuffs.
Yes, the French cuffs, and you know
baller.
They'd have the monogram on their shirts. They'd have their initials on their shirts. So, you know, and they're so fucking full of themselves. They love that shit.
Oh, yeah. So, did you do the cufflinks and everything too?
Yeah, everything. Dude. Everything. We decked them out. They were, you know, they'd spend money. They didn't care. Back when, you know, their money in Wall Street was huge, and they were just spend money like it was nothing, like it was water.
Like it was going out of style, brother.
Yep.
That's one thing I always wanted was some boxing glove cufflinks. Maybe I'll get them and ask my wife them for Christmas. But yeah, no. And I don't even wear like a suit like that. You know, like the suits I wear are all normal. I don't have a tuxedo shirt or anything. But dude, honestly, even you saying it, I would fucking love to be able to afford that. Because legit, once you like, you could like kind of charge these guys whatever the hell you wanted, right? You're just like right in your like, because once you're like, all right, dude, if you want, you know, like, because would they get like 7 suits a week, or how would it work?
No, I mean, they would buy like a bunch of shirts, and then they would buy a couple suits, 2-3 suits, and, you know, they keep them for a while. But we had a lot. There's a lot of stockbrokers up there, and we just didn't do stock. We did like a lot of different places, doctors, lawyers, you know, people that you know had affairs. They wanted to dress up all the time, or just, you know, in the office these guys dressed. So I mean, you know, they were wearing, you know, them kind of clothes in the office. So
I bet it was like a Don Draper situation where Don Draper used to keep extra dress shirts in his desk, right? So like I bet they all had some extra dress shirts in their desk and looking fly, you know, after out, you know, they have to clean the you know, the coke and hooker spit off of them.
Sure.
You know, after a night out.
Well, the shirts, the custom shirts were real expensive. They were expensive, but the cuffs and the collars were guaranteed for life. So, I mean, if you wore the cuffs out of the collars, you could ship the shirts back, and we'd redo the cuffs and collars and clean it up real nice. So, yeah. So,
a lifetime warranty on the cuffs and collars.
On the cuffs and collars, yeah.
So, like,
we were kicking a little ass back then.
Yeah.
I mean, it was kind of cool. Yeah.
Dude, would that only go for like rips and tears, or like stains and stuff?
No, stains and shit too. Yeah, yeah.
So you can get a stain on your custom shirt and be like, "Hey, come on, you know, what are we doing here?" And
I don't think I've ever had a shirt that didn't have a stain on it. To be honest with you. They all got fucking stains. So
you know how those stockbrokers go, dude. That's great, man. That's awesome. What so nice. So you had like, so I don't know if you're allowed to say. Do you remember how much like the custom shirt would cost?
God, I think a shirt back then it was like $85.
$85.
Yeah, you're talking a long time ago, brother. $85 isn't $85 now. You know, you can blow $85 at McDonald's now.
Oh,
you know?
yeah.
That's the way.
Oh, yeah. Dude, well, back in the 80s, right? You're talking like mid 80s, right? When this is going down, right? Like $85, that would be like you're getting like a $300 shirt now. You know what I mean? Like, if not more, not more. And it's like a custom job, dude. I wonder if that, like, there's still, I mean, like, because like imagine like you had stockbrokers. Did he continue that business? And like, because like imagine you go from stockbrokers to athletes, right? You know what I mean? Like
he used to dress Von Hebron, Rick Tocchet, Von Hebron. Who was the mayor? What was his name?
Giuliani?
No, not Giuliani. The Philadelphia.
Rendell? Ed Rendell?
As a matter of fact,
the governor. He dressed the governor.
You know when the governor had the show with what was his name? Von Hebron. They had that show.
The sports show.
Yeah, well, Von Hebron would give him a shout out after every show because he would, dress them. So they would be like, we're giving a shout out to Frank Derito for sending us these clothes over because they were wearing his clothes. So I mean,
dude.
Yeah, it was kind of cool.
Dude, that's badass, man. Like, so you guys were doing the measurements and like you're picking out the materials and like the custom, the lapel stuff and the initials and everything and the embroideries. Who was actually doing the cutting, snipping, and sewing and all that? Did you have like a place that did it?
We had a house that did it for us. The Gambert girls, they were called the Gamberts. And they would do all the sewing and they would, we'd send them the measurements. Boom. They do the shirts. They do the suits. If, they were fantastic. Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
And
they were really good.
Was that
I have no idea if they're still around. They're probably defunct like everything else.
Well, but like, were they, and that was like a mom and pop shop or was it like a corporation? Like,
they were pretty big. I mean, they were pretty big.
Yeah. Okay. So it was like okay. So like it wasn't like two old ladies in the basement.
No.
Dude, that's great, man. Dude, that's badass. That is something.
Did you ever see anything crazy at the stockbroke houses?
Ooh.
Yeah. They were always like, I've seen fights. There was a couple fist fights, and I guess they get into arguments and stuff. And you hear them yelling and seeing, guys, it's like crazy. I mean, it was crazy.
Papers going everywhere.
Yeah.
Guys
just clouds of cocaine all over the place. It's just what's going on,
But,
nice.
A lot of them guys work, you steal somebody, steal a client, that's crazy,
dude. Yeah, they could be stealing $5 million from him with that.
You never know. You never know what's going on.
Dude, but it does matter. The crazy thing is like, because those guys are kind of legit in that business. From what I understand, if you're like a stockbroker or whatever, you're kind of selling yourself. Like you're telling people like, look, I can give me your money and I can make you more money. And you just got to give me a piece of it. Right. So like
Absolutely.
You can't show up looking like Johnny fucking Schmo. You know what I mean? Like you got to be to the nines.
You got to be to the nines.
You got to be. Right. I wonder where that saying comes from. Dress to the nines. Interesting. Oh, I found this out. Speaking of soccer, we were talking about earlier. Do you know why they invented soccer? Did you guys ever hear this?
No.
Okay. Brace yourselves. This is supposedly real. So soccer was invented at like a Victorian boys' school, right? So what they did, the professors and principals and teachers there, right, wanted to do an activity where, because the students there were whacking off so much, right, that they wanted to invent an activity where they wouldn't use their hands so much and they would focus more on their feet. So they thought like, well, if they're not using their hands and they're just going to stop whacking it so much, like it's not like the hands aren't going to be there later, right? Like they're going to start using their feet instead of their hands. I don't know. But yeah, so either way, that's how soccer was started. They wanted an activity where they're using their feet and not their hands. So,
it sounded like we're kind of like a story where the word fuck came from. The same thing. You know what I mean?
Fornication under the consent of the king. Right?
Yes.
Yeah. No, that's great. No, I'm 100% with you. I think, dude, but it is crazy to think like the number one sport in the world, right? Started for, to stop some teenagers from schmoing it up.
It didn't stop me much, I'll tell you that.
I don't think it stopped any of those guys either. You know what I mean? But nice. So, okay. So let's keep it moving. So nice. So you're doing this for your brother. Like this job fascinates me, man. So like you get the order, you give it to the people, and then you would like, and then once you like the suits weren't getting mailed to them, you would deliver them, right?
They would be delivered. Yeah.
So was Monday like the typical delivery day, or was it every day, or how many times were you driving to the city to drop off these suits?
We'd be in the city 4 days a week. So if somebody's clothes came in, we would deliver them, but we would coincide going and taking orders.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it was a full day there. Sometimes we didn't get done, and we had to leave early because the traffic is crazy going to the city and into the city, going under the tunnel and shit like that.
Yeah.
So we'd have to leave super early to get into the city before the traffic all fucking went haywire. And then we'd have to leave late because it's useless of leaving at 4:30, 5 o'clock. You're just going to fucking sit there for 2 hours.
Yeah.
So we'd end up leaving at 7, 8 o'clock, you know, so it was long days. It was long days, but it was cool. Learned a lot. I learned a lot about sales. I learned a lot about, you know,
dude, that's awesome. Plus too, like, yeah, like was it, and it was, I would have to say your client base was like 100, like 90% male, right? Like
it was about, yes, it was at least maybe more. Yeah, it was pretty much, we didn't really do any woman's attire.
I mean,
all like some women would buy gifts for their husbands and stuff like that. Like, you know,
or some affairs would buy them for their sugar daddies. Yeah. But Hillary Clinton, to be fair, Hillary Clinton really hadn't come out with the pantsuit before then. So, you know, what are you going to do? Pantsuit wasn't a big thing, right? But once Kirstie Alley hit the street on Cheers, right, then it was a whole new game. But
wait, Kirstie Alley is a woman?
Okay. You son of a bitch! A fucking that one. Nice. All right. So how long were you with your brother doing that job?
Years. Years.
So like you went there right after high school.
Right after high school, and was there till like 30.
You were like a young freaking kid, just running in just living, like running the streets in New York up there with the suits with your brother, right? Dude, that is, I mean, talk about a blast, right? Like, come on. I've worked with my brother on things, and a lot of the time it does kind of suck, but like, I bet, you know, the fondest things you remember are probably the car rides with your brother and hanging out with him, huh?
They were great. And I wouldn't trade them for the world. They were fantastic. I loved him. We had a great relationship, and then he got married, and then he got a little crazy after he got married. So
that seems to happen. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, I feel like I'm still just as sane as I ever was, but you know, some people say I've gone crazy, but I don't know what they're talking about. But yeah, no, it's marriage and kids. Once you have that, it will drive you insane.
It's all downhill after that.
Oh, baby. Oh, baby. I'll tell you that. Dude, I remember when my wife was pregnant, you and me would talk about, like, you know, like I would ask you stuff and you would tell me about the kid and everything like that. And you, I think, were the only person that warned me that, hey, the kid's going to be great and, you know, do whatever, but watch out because your wife's going to be nuts because they get hormonal after they have this kid.
They get crazy.
And then they're getting whack jobs. You know, you thought they were crazy before. Watch out. But nice. So, okay, so let's keep it moving. So you were there for like ever, and you developed, like, you really got like your salesman technique down and everything like that. And it really kind of like, you know, brought you into, you know, I mean, kind of like really just showed you how to act in like in a business standpoint and how to treat customers and really like your customer relationship and everything like that, and how to talk to people and like the hard work, right? Because that's a bust your ass job. When you're working for yourself like that, like every time you go to talk to somebody, it's like, am I going to get paid or am I not? Right? Like, you're not getting a paycheck. It all depends on you. And if you can sell this, you know, when you were selling the stuff, were you rocking suits too? Or were you showing up in, you know?
No, I had suits. I had a couple nice custom suits. I had a Hugo Boss. I had, I had a couple really nice suits, and, you know, I'd show up and dress nice. And, you know, and when I was young, you know, my brother would always, this is my kid brother, you know what I mean? He was cool. And, you know, he'd be like, you know, this is my brother. And and then, you know.
Yeah. So like, this is my brother, Johnny. I'm Frankie. We're nice. We're a
Frankie
couple.
And Johnny.
Yeah, Frankie and Johnny. We're a couple nice English boys. All right. Your mother. No, dude, that's a lot of fun. That's great. So, dude, yeah, that's a lot of fun working with your brother and doing all that stuff. I mean, it is what it is, but it's great. So, all right. So let's keep it moving then. So after you're done there with your brother, right? Like that job ends, right? Then from there, where do you go to? Like do you start at you go to another salesman position, right?
I did. I went and I worked for USB for a while, doing steaks and stuff and selling meats. And then I really was there for a little bit, and I ended up working for, and I worked there for a long time. And I remember I told you before, I went from, in 2 months, I went from in a company of probably 19 salesmen, I went to being their number one salesman within 2 months. And I never relinquished that. I was the number one salesman there until I left. And that was years later. Man. And it was like, they bring young guys in. Oh, this guy's hungry, this and that. You're like, fuck you. Ain't nobody outselling me, man. It's just not going to happen.
Not hungry enough, right?
Yeah.
Dude, I'll tell you, that's something and that's something I think is lacking in society today. And honestly, I'm not surprised that there isn't already, if there probably is, a college course on people skills, right? All those years dealing in New York and everything like that and chilling up there. Right? You developed the people skills needed to work with every type of customer and talk every type of person into this. Right. And also you have to support the product. Right. I always felt like I could sell anything as long as I support the product. Right. If I'm working at Applebee's, it's fucking tough to sell that. Right. But if I'm working at Ruth Chris, it's pretty easy to sell this. Cause I'll tell you what I can just be truthful. I don't want to lie to you. You know what I mean? So you're kind of I feel like one of the best ways to sell to people is to be honest and tell them look, and let them know the deals and not try to fatten your pockets off of skimming them, because that's a one-time thing. But if you show them the deals and how to work it and you help them out, then that's a lifetime customer. You know what I mean? And you hook them up. So was that what kind of thing, what kind of techniques do you think you would use when you were selling, when you were, head salesman? What kind of stuff did you do? Were you just good at talking to people, or did you have different techniques, or how did it go?
I'm a good listener.
Yeah.
If you listen to what somebody says to you, and just really show them that you care, listen to them, they'll tell you what you want, and then you just give them what they want. It's as easy as that. Because if they're there in front of you, they want what you're selling in the first place. So they're looking to buy something, or they're either going to buy from you or somebody else. So they're looking, and then as they tell you and they're talking to you, you listen to them, and you care. You get to know them, you care, you get them to trust you within the first 5 minutes of talking. And people are always going to buy who they trust. Yeah. And boom, before you know it, you're making that sale. And just, it's just, I always say, God gave me one gift, and that is it. Because if I couldn't sell anything, I don't know what I'd be doing. I'm serious. Hey. I have no fucking clue.
Hey, man, you got, it's that Matt, you know what I mean? The Italians, they can talk, man. You can sell it. No, dude, I've known you for years. You're a great dude to talk to. And yeah, you're a good listener, but also you're a smart guy. You're very
Let's not get crazy now.
Right.
I'm fucking crazy, man.
But you're very nice and personable, and you do genuinely care, and you're just a good guy. You know what I mean? And I think that goes a long way.
Especially, I love people.
Yeah,
I love people.
You're a definite people person, but also it's I don't know. I feel and I think we've all been around enough, and growing up as kids and on the street and everything, I think we all know a scumbag bullshitter when we see one, right?
Yes.
And when you're dealing with a salesman, you can tell right away who's a scumbag bullshitter and who's all right, this guy's okay. You know what I mean? I think we all can, right? Would you agree?
That comes believing in your product. You talked about believing in your product. I think if you believe in what you're selling, it goes, you're helping somebody, and you want to really help them.
Yeah.
And if you have that in your heart and you're trying to help somebody, they can feel that, smell it, and that's it.
And
it's so much easier selling something you believe in. Like if you're selling crap, and then you're trying to pawn it off on somebody, you feel like a used car salesman versus you have a superior product and I'm just here to give it to you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes.
Dude, I remember when I was in between jobs and I was talking to somebody about like a job and they had told me like, dude, you should go into like try to be a car salesman. And they're like, look, I'll teach you all the tricks to get them to buy and all these things. I was like, I don't want to do that, man. Like if that's what if that's you and what you're doing, more power to you. But like, if I see like, like I think of like, if my wife came in, she's got a kid and a family, like we're not fucking loaded with money. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't want to scam someone like that. I'd want to fucking give them the car. Like I don't want to be that person. You know what I mean? It doesn't matter how much money, like that's just to me, I don't know. But there's some people that make a living off of off of doing that. But I mean,
too many hours. Way too many hours. You're working. Yeah. You're working 6 days a week and you're working your ass off.
Yeah. Yeah.
You're there from like 9 to 9. I have a couple friends that are car salesmen. I'm like, I don't know how they do it. They're fucking, it's like, that's fucking torture.
Oh, bro. I'll tell you what, one thing I don't know how, I like jewelry, people who sell jewelry too, right? Like if you work at a jewelry store, right? 80 or 90% of their yearly income happens now during the holiday season, right? Yeah. 90%, 80 to 90% happen now. That's unreal, right?
Yeah, they should just sleep until this time of year and then fucking get up and start working.
You just awaken in November.
Yeah, that's it.
I'd have to think too. Springtime, there's probably like proposals. There has to be
February.
Yeah,
I'm sure.
No one's proposing in February, right? Like you're gonna wait till May. You know what I mean? You don't want to propose in the BS, right? But I'm with you. Nice. Okay, so let's keep it moving. So you're at the job. You were a phone sale, like you were doing it over the phone, right? Like how did it work?
No. Okay. Students came in. I would tour them around. I would go over everything with them, talk to their parents, do presentations for families and stuff like that, and then I'd have them sign on the dotted line because I'd show them it was a good place to go. They're gonna, I built the value up. I'd build the value up, and then boom, just have them sign on the dotted line because they liked me, I guess. And
yeah, but okay. So you were at Penco Tech, right? And you would schedule like a student to come in with their family or whatever, and like that's when you're walking them around and you're really telling them like, look. This is beneficial. This is beneficial. You can learn this here and do this here. We have these programs available for you that you can't get anywhere else for this price. Like you're kind of just giving them like, this is the deal. It's a pretty sweet deal, right? Like, and that you kind of just sold them like the place like with honesty. And that's like, so you were walking around touring, like that sounds like it'd be kind of like a unique, like fun kind of job. Like, you're walking around, you're pointing things out, like you're sitting in on things, right? Like, is that kind of how it went?
Absolutely. It's definitely, it's funny because you have people like they would come in to the school.
Yeah.
They wouldn't be working. They wouldn't be, they wouldn't be doing anything. They'd be sleeping. They'd be playing video games.
Yeah.
Even if the school wasn't 100% for them, at least they're getting up off their ass. They're going somewhere and they're getting into a fucking routine. Otherwise, they're just going to be laying on a fucking sofa all day and doing nothing. I look at like how people. It's tough to. They have to keep going. You got to keep trying to better yourself and push. And if you don't, it's when you lose. And that goes to the day you die. I mean, nobody wants to stay idle. Everybody wants to get better and better and better. Yeah. It's things that they like to do or things that they want to do or they're making money at, no matter what it is. You just want to get better at everything that you do. And I think everybody kind of feels that way. If you really look there, deep down, everybody wants to better themselves.
Yeah.
Except for you, you're already there, so it don't.
I mean, you know, why would you mess with perfection, right?
Absolutely, you don't want to fucking break that. You know,
I mean, with this canvas, it's not hard to paint a masterpiece.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But no, dude, I'm 100% with you. And don't get me wrong, I love video games as much as the next guy, and they are fun. But it is like, it can be like, Justin, would you agree? Like it can be too much at times.
Yeah, there's obviously, there's a level of too much hours every night, and it's eating away at your sleep schedule. Like, but if you're stop learning or stop trying to do anything new, then you just, that's when you die. You got to keep trying to better yourself in some aspect, get smarter, learn something. Yeah. Keeps you alive.
Dude, I agree. I love the saying in the movie Rudy, where dreams is what makes life tolerable, right? So like if you're, you know, not chasing a dream, but chasing something new, that's still like keeping you motivated, keeping you new, like to learn something and do something new. Honestly, that's one of the big sales pitches I had at the gym when we would get people that come in. I would tell them, like, how many times can you fucking run on a treadmill and lift a fucking weight before you lose your fucking mind? You know what I mean? Yeah. Right? Like when legit, I've taught there for 14 years boxing, right? And I'm still learning new shit. Jiu-jitsu is the same, where it's forever evolving, right? And there's always something new and always a different mountain to climb and a different goal to reach. You know what I mean? So like, I agree with you. That kind of stuff, like you do need a challenge, and you do need, like, I don't know, it's a motivation too, right? Like if you don't have to, like, I don't know. I mean, I don't want to get too preachy, but it's, you definitely need like a challenge and a motivation in your life. Otherwise it's like, what are we even doing here? You know what I mean? So yeah, but hey, if your motivation is video games, then more power to you. I'm not telling you how to live your life. So, all right. So you're at Penco Tech, you're doing all that. Where were you doing the meat sales at prior to where you're at now? Because weren't you selling
U.S. beef? They were just, you know, it was a little beef company, meat company. I liked it. It was kind of cool because you're out and you're selling, and you get a lot of freedom, and, you know, you're just out doing your own thing. But I was, when I first, U.S. wasn't like in my blood at the time. Mm-hmm. And I left there and went to, and I really liked it a lot.
Nice. Okay. So let's keep moving. So you're at the meat job, right? The meat sales job. And was that like a door to door, or is that a phone, or both, or how did that work?
Door to door, restaurant to restaurant, whatever I wanted to do, I could do, but it was, there wasn't enough money in it. I mean, I started making a little money, but it wasn't what I wanted to do. When I went to the school, I started making more money. So it was, you know, it was more lucrative. And I think that's what, you know, we all want something more lucrative all the time. So
true. Yeah. You don't want to, you want like you're kind of like, I wouldn't say chasing, but you're like, you have a value, right?
It's not a hobby.
Yeah. You know your worth, and you know what you're worth, and you deserve to get what you're worth. And that's what you were going after. And I think, you definitely should get that. Nice. And I'm glad, you know, good that you saw that. That is something like, I don't know, it breaks my heart too, when you see someone who's like kind of stuck in a job. And I've been there, right? Like, dude, I've bartended and everything for years. Right. And in my mind, because I was thinking, like, I could never work in an office. I don't have a college degree. I can't be in an office. Right. And like, my wife was the one that was like, no, like, if you want to get married, you need 401k, you need healthcare. Like, if you want to be with me, you need all that shit. And I'm like, all right, lady, you know? So eventually I would get a job in an office, and dude, and I'll scream it from the high heavens. People in the restaurant industry who are in the same mindset that I was have no idea how overly qualified they are to work in an office. I'll tell you that right now, because I've worked with some dopes in some bars, right? But at least they were workers, right? There's some of these office people that are fucking for the birds, babe. You know what I mean? So nice. So, all right. So let's keep it moving. So you leave. So you leave the meat sale, the first meat sales job. Then you go to the trade school job, right? Why did you leave the trade school job?
I was there for many years. And like I said, I led, after the second month, I led their sales teams, and in both locations.
Yeah.
For years and years, and was the top salesman. I was making them a ton of money every year.
Yeah.
And I mean, you know, it's not, I wasn't a college graduate and they were paying me well, and then there's bullshit in the office. You have to listen to this. And then one day I just decided I'm not going to work for fucking anybody anymore except for myself. It's done. I don't fucking care. I'm not going to have anybody tell me what to do ever fucking again. And I'm just going to work for me. And everything I do is for me. Make money is for me. I'm not going to make tons of money for somebody else. I'm going to make tons of money for me. So, I mean, maybe it was greedy that I left.
No, fucking, you're fucking right, man. And that's, God fucking bless you, man. That's great. That's great that you did that. Cause dude, I've been like that fucking scenario where you have someone like, you know, and I'm not saying like maybe you had like the leadership there they didn't have your back, it would seem, right? And like, you know, like they weren't really valuing your worth, right? Like how long were you there? Like 10 years, right?
I was there for 16 years.
16 years. Yeah. 16 years of leading sales. Are you kidding me? Do you know how much money you brought into that place? Millions upon millions of dollars in tuitions, right?
$6 to $7 million annually I would do for the company.
Oh, jeez. My God.
Yeah.
Right? Imagine if you just got 10% of that. You know, like give me 10% of that a year, you know? Like, you know, like you're not asking for the fucking moon. You're asking for like a fair shake. And the fact that they just like, you know, like they got complacent with like, well, he's just so dependable and he's so good at his job that we know he'll do it. And we can kind of crap on him and he'll just keep doing a good job because that's what he is. That's fucking bullshit, right? That when I see that, like you need, like, I'll tell you, there's a company that I know where like there's employees that have been there for 25 and 30 years. And it's because they have their employees back and they take care of their employees. You're not asking to be the fucking president, right? You're not asking for $20 million a year. You're asking for a fair shake, right? And to get what you're worth and to be treated with some respect due to the position that you've earned over 16 years of being the top fucking guy in the company, making the most money, right? Right?
I think I wanted to grow too. Yeah.
I
mean, I definitely.
And you would hit a ceiling there, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And they had pegged you like, this is John. This is where he's kind of right. Like, is that kind of what happened? Where like there was no opportunity for growth, even though you'd earned it. See, that's fucking bullshit. And that's why they lost it. And I bet you, I'll tell you this, that 6-7 million that they're missing, I bet they fucking want it back. I'll tell you that right fucking now, man. Because I'll tell you, they called
me to come back.
Oh.
They had called me to come back. I was
no, they can go right here.
No. Yeah, I'd rather eat out of garbage cans than go back. If I leave something, that's it, man. That's done. It's over.
Dude, plus two, think about it. Like the money you were making them, I bet they probably could hire 4 college graduates, right? Some fucking students that just graduated college this year. They could hire 4 of them and they wouldn't even come close to the amount of money that you made them annually. So yeah, when it hits their checkbook, that's when they finally notice. But good for you, man.
It's good okay. I wish him the best. I always, things happen, and I wish him the best. And we've parted ways, and I do my own thing now, and I'm extremely happy, very happy.
Good, man. And like you can see it, and like you're happy to like you wake up every day. You're happy to do what you're doing. You like what you're doing. You're making good money. You're your own boss. Yeah, there's a little more stress that comes with it, but also it's a lot more rewarding. And it's like you don't have to answer to some fuckhead that doesn't know what he's doing, that doesn't respect you and what you've done. And that's fucking good, dude. I'm so proud of you, man. Because there's a lot of people that would just eat that shit sandwich for the rest of their life, and they'd be fucking miserable. Right.
Yeah, I want to know what'd you start doing? What was your what's your business?
Yeah.
So you left that place?
Yeah. No, I sell steaks to cheesesteak places, to like pizza places, to to restaurants. I go there. I have a truck. It's a refrigerated truck, and I go there. I sell them 400 pounds a week. Some places take 600 pounds a week, but I have a great product. And, you know, I go and I sell that and chicken cheesesteak. So when you eat a cheesesteak or a chicken cheesesteak at some of these places, it could be mine.
You?
Yeah.
Oh,
and I do wings, and I do, you know, I do jumbo wings. I do party wings. I do, you know, medium wing. It's so, I mean, it's my little thing. I don't want to go to and do a ton of stuff. I don't, you know, people go and they service whole rest. I don't want to do that. I like what I'm doing now.
Yeah.
I concentrated on where the money was, and then boom, I hit it, and that's it. And it's like I said, I've been doing it now for I've been getting it up for about a year and a half, but I've been doing it. I've actually been out on the street for almost 6 months, and it's grown and it's growing and it's getting better. And I can't ask for more than that, man.
Yeah.
I'm happy.
Awesome.
I got God with me. And, you know, God plays a big part in everything that I do. And, you know,
and your lady, talk about a great support system.
Yeah,
she's the best.
Great. My lady's great. She's fantastic. She helps me with a lot of stuff. And, you know, she's great. And
without her, the whole damn opera falls apart, brother. We know
absolutely,
it.
Yeah. You know, gotta give her kudos, or I'll get beat up by her.
Sure. Don't we know it, Bill? But no, dude, I'll tell you, Justin, you would be amazed at the amount of people that have had John's meat in their mouth, brother. I'll tell you, he's giving it to everybody.
I've had a cheesesteak probably almost everywhere in this area, so I've probably had it.
Dude,
definitely.
You know what I've been doing lately, and this is the move: cheesesteak Stromboli. Where you at?
I got a
where you at?
Good.
I got a meatball Stromboli the other day. It's a beautiful thing. Beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I always wonder what's the difference between a Stromboli and a calzone.
Calzone has ricotta and mozzarella inside of it with no sauce. Stromboli has sauce inside of it.
Is that the only difference?
Yep.
Oh, look at me. Look at you.
One has sauce, one doesn't.
Look at you, you fucking stood-on. All right.
That's up the other day.
Nice, dude. I'll tell you, dude, a good fucking boli, dude, a meatball parm boli or a fucking cheesesteak special boli. Telling you, bro.
I've been blowing those the Popeyes chicken sandwich, yo. I've been eating it like once a week, yo. It's bad.
Good, huh?
If you go to the right place, like you can't go to a shitty one in a bad area, you get the worst sandwich you ever had.
Don't go to
but like there's one in the suburbs as a drive-through that just pumping out beautiful chicken sandwiches.
Well, don't tell anybody because then it'll be mobbed. Dude, I'll tell you, I will say this.
My warehouse is near K&A.
We'll talk about that. So I'll tell you, speaking of Popeye, so I used to work in Ardmore, right, Wynwood. And I would have to take the train there from Lansdale. So the way it works is that the R5 would go into the city one direction. It would make it was almost like a V, where it would go from Lansdale into the city, then out of Center City to Wynwood, right? So it was so you would go into the city, right, from Center City, then you would leave and go out. And I would go to Wynwood. But when I was in Center City, I would always get off at Market East because they had a Popeyes there right by our platform. And that Popeyes was always popping. So I knew the chicken and the biscuits were always fresh. Yeah. Bro, there's some things you can fall in love with, and Popeyes is one of them.
I get that. I get in grooves where I'll order things and then I'll go get it I don't know, twice in a week a bunch. And then after the fourth, fifth time, I can never eat this again.
Bro, how many times have you done it with Chick-fil-A? Right,
dude. You get on a thing with it, the breakfast is banging too. You know, the tater tots they have at
Chick-fil-A has breakfast?
Yeah, you've never had Chick-fil-A's breakfast?
No, is it good?
Full. It's the best fast food breakfast.
Really?
They have these little circular hash browns that are like little cracker rocks. Yeah, they're so good. They have a breakfast burrito that's chicken, or you can get chicken or sausage, egg and cheese just wrapped in a burrito with those hash browns inside of it. You can get that in a bowl. You can get it on a biscuit.
Man, I might be doing what is it every day they have breakfast?
Yeah, it's till 10:30, and it is at 10. That's the other thing. So the one day I'm going to Chick-fil-A, it's 10:28. I get in line. When I get to the window, it's past 10:30. And she's like, oh, sorry, like it's too late. And I'm like, I was in line before 10:30. Like, sorry, that's the cutoff. And I'm looking at all these people. I'm like, there's like still 6 more people in line. I'm like, are these animals really getting chicken sandwiches at 10:30 in the morning? Like,
yeah. Cutoff should be 11. Yeah. I'm with you. I can't say I've agreed with everything Chick-fil-A stands for, but breakfast should end at 11. Let's be fucking honest here. Yeah. Right? Like, come on. 10:30? What are you,
10:35? Yeah.
Yeah, there should be a 10-minute cushion, right? Like, come on. You saw.
I was in line in time.
Dude, I'll tell you, this is the move, right? You get a number 1 classic, right? Deluxe. You get the number 1 deluxe with American cheese, right?
Yep.
You ask for extra pickles, okay? I don't know how you feel about tomato and lettuce. I could live without it. So I usually X-nay the tomato and lettuce, extra pickles, right? Then you ask for like a bunch of extra Chick-fil-A sauce, okay? You take the Chick-fil-A sauce, you put it on the burger or on the chicken, right?
Pate.
You put it on the pate and you put it on the bun. Then you take a select number of fries, you put them on the pate, you put a little more sauce for Chick-fil-A sauce for a little touch. Then you smash down that top half of the bun. I'm telling you, you'll never love anything more in your life.
That I wouldn't eat Chick-fil-A if they didn't have Chick-fil-A sauce. It's so good. It I don't even know what it is. It's like honey mustard and something.
I mean, it's God's jizz as far as I'm concerned. It's just incredible. I have a bottle of it in my fridge right now. It's incredible.
I saw they started selling that. I need that. I put on all kinds of shit.
You know what that I got the other day, and I'm a pretty big fan of it. And Heinz started doing it. They started doing the combo sauces. So they have a buffalo ranch combo, right? So it's like a buffalo ranch mixed, bro. Dude, like with fries or fucking nuggets, I'm telling you, fucking killer. I could eat that shit on anything. It's incredible, you know?
I got to get me a tub of that Chick-fil-A sauce.
Oh, be the best decision you've ever made. All right, so after, we'll keep talking, but Popeyes is great, everything like that, but I want to keep it going. So you're right now, you're saying fuck you to the man and you're working for yourself, right? And you got your own company. And like, do you have any socials or a website or any contact info? Because we'll put that in the description of this episode.
I don't. No.
It's all right. Don't even sweat.
I don't. I go by, like I said, I go around and I sell these people. I go around with samples, sell them. Yeah. And it's been on fire. It's been really good.
Dude, if you're willing to give them a good product for a good price and you're not an asshole, you'll be surprised how well that works, right?
Well, all the companies that are out there doing it, they just drop off and like they have nothing to do with the company. They just they wheel stuff in. I try to give it that extra, be a little personable.
Yeah.
Talk to them and, when they have problems, if they have a problem with anything, I'll replace it. And I go out of my way.
Yeah, he can actually talk to you instead of talking to a 1-800 number. You don't drop it in front of the restaurant at 3:00 in the morning. You show up when they're open, you bring it in.
Absolutely. And a lot of the companies do that. They have, if you go to call them, they have a 1-800 number and, just place your order. And then half the time they don't show up.
I bet half the places you go to would pay more just to be able to talk to somebody right away versus having to call 1-800 number. Like, I don't care if you're more expensive if I could actually speak to you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Oh, yes. Dude.
And that's exactly.
Yeah. Dude, I 100% agree. I had to deal with something yesterday where I had to call Apple, right? And I almost woke my daughter up because I'm screaming into the phone like, put a fucking person on the fucking phone, you fucking robot, right? Like, I just wanted to talk to a person and then they come back like, did you want to talk about your phone? And I'm like, fuck you. Yeah. So no, dude, I'm like, also, right? Like, it's you're kind of giving them peace of mind, right? Like, these people that you're selling to, it's like the mom and pop shops and like people that are outside of the Philadelphia area. And for our international listeners, we are international, FYI, guys. Nice. We have listeners in Canada. So for our international listeners, like in the Philadelphia area, we do have chains but there is a lot of mom and pop pizza shops, babe. And everybody's got their cheesesteak spot. Everybody's got their hoagie spot. Everybody's got their bowly spot, right? And like,
I do change too. I have some change that I'm doing. So yeah.
So okay, so you have change too, but like, dude, I'm telling, like, but what you're giving them is the lifeblood of their business. Cheesesteaks in Philadelphia, people have to understand, it's not just like a special thing you come in or get. It's a daily staple in most people's diet. Right. Right. Like I know we have one pizza, like there's only one pizza spot we go to where I live, and it's an Albania owned pizza spot. Shout out to Mario Brothers Pizza on Cotman Avenue. Fan of the show, listener to the show, check them out, the best. But that's the only place we go, right? And like we'll get different things, but we're always getting something with meat in it or whatever, right? And like if they don't have that, or if they get a bad shipment, or if they run out, like that's hundreds and hundreds of dollars they're losing out on, and that could be their fucking business, right? Like, dude, I'm like, you know what I mean? So like if you're an owner, right, and if you're gonna pay relatively the same or if not a better price, and you know, like if there's an issue, I got John. Or like, I know it's going to be here every week on time. I'm going to have the best stuff available. He's not going to scam me. He's an actual person I can talk to and communicate and ask about. And like, hey, maybe I wanted to try this, or maybe I wanted to try that, or heard about this. Like, it's not a whole fucking process. You talk to one guy and he takes care of it. Honestly, there is like, you can't like, there is not an amount of money that most people would pay to have that available, right? Like to have that peace of mind available to them. You know, and that's what you're doing. So, dude, fucking love that you're working for yourself. Love that you said fuck you to the man and you're doing your thing and you had the balls to do it. So I want to keep going. So I want to talk about, right, like what's a day in the life like? So we know why you started the business. We know because you were sick of fucking working for some stunads that didn't respect your work and you wanted to, you know, go and work for yourself and do your own thing. Did you have like some connections in the meat game before when you were at the meat sales job? And like kind of knew. Okay. So how did you figure this game out? Where did it come from?
I was talking to my uncle and he had a friend in Nebraska.
What's your uncle's name?
My Uncle Dave.
Oh, I thought it was like Uncle Sonny or Uncle Guido,
I got Uncle
Angelo. Uncle Angelo. Yeah. Okay. So it's Uncle Dave.
Uncle Dave.
Yeah. So you're with Uncle Davide. Yeah. So
I was talking to him and he told me he's got a friend in Nebraska and he's got a meat processing company. He makes his own meats and, you know, they do everything there.
Oh, wow.
So he goes, he's been looking to break into the Philadelphia area. He needs a good salesman. Do you think you'd be up for it? He goes, you know, who would ship you the meat and you could get a cold storage. You get a warehouse.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I said, yeah, I think I could, you know, the more I thought about it, the more I thought, it sounds kind of cool. Yeah. So then I called the guy up from Nebraska. I said, yo, what do you do, this and that? And we just started talking. I hit it off. This guy is, first of all, he's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. And he's 85 years old and should have retired.
I fucking love him.
He should have retired like ages ago.
An 85-year-old cattle baron from Nebraska.
But
right?
He says, like, I'm
fucking
never retired. And he's like a young 80. He's cool.
Oh, I love it.
He's like, I always wanted to take, my dream is to take the Philadelphia cheesesteak over. He goes, I got a good product. He goes, I'm going to ship you some. I want you to see what you can do with it, blah, 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 blah. So I started talking to him like every day. And we started getting, you know, building relationship.
Yeah.
And he started
and this is the owner of the company?
Yes.
So see, this is another great thing. It's not like you're talking with fucking Billy from underwriting or Jan from fucking, you know, accounting. You're talking to the owner of the fucking company and he's reaching out to you. So you're his head salesman in the Philadelphia area. But keep going. Sorry. So
yeah, he loved me and he's like, yo, he goes, why don't you get your own business up? We'll do whatever, you know, this is what I want you to do. And so I figured it out, you know, I started thinking about it and I said, you know what, this would be great. And so he sent me some product and I ended up going out with the product. And like, I was like getting people like companies, like shops and different chains and all saying, hey, when can you deliver this to me? When can I get it? This and that. And so that's when I knew that I was on to something.
Fucking hey, dude. So, now I want to like. Can you shout out one of the places that you go? Because I want to try. Because like, I'm not gonna lie. You go to some steak shops and the fucking meat is fucking rubber, bro. Like JDub, right?
Yeah, there's some bad places where you know not to get one there. You're like, this is garbage.
Well, I'll give a shout out to Ernie's Pizza in Northeast Philadelphia. It's right on Cotman Avenue.
That's probably right by my house. Dude, Ernie's Pizza in the Northeast on Cotman. I'm gonna go there and try the steak and see what this meat is about. Now I'm fucking excited. I'm going to shout out to the Godfather of Meat, fan of the show, listener of the show, Godfather of Meat. We're challenging you. Go to Ernie's Pizza, right, on Cotman in the Northeast. Try the steak there and see the difference in the type of meat. Dude, all right. Awesome. Oh, dude, now I'm fucking pumped. I'm fucking getting a steak after this.
Yeah. Steve's is right down the street. You don't do Steve's Princess Steaks, do you?
Steve's has his... He does his own cutting. He cuts his own. He gets his meat in a bulk piece, cooks it himself, and then cuts it himself for his.
It's an overrated steak, and I'll say it till the fucking
it's an excellent steak. Steve puts out a great steak.
No, don't be kissing his ass, John. All right,
he puts out a good steak.
It's an overrated steak. All right.
No, he's nobody that I would ever do business with, but I do like his. I do like his steak.
I mean, you know, my dad always said, and I feel like this is like, you know, it's in the same game. Like sex is like pizza. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's still pretty good, right?
Yeah,
you know,
absolutely.
Cheesesteaks are kind of the same way. When it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's still pretty good. Still fucking steak, right?
There's very few bad cheesesteaks I've ever had.
Exactly. Yeah. Everybody I give my cheesesteak to says it's the best fucking cheesesteak they've ever had in their life.
I can't wait.
They're like, that's the best. And my friends who would be like, want to say, hey, fuck you, this cheesesteak sucks.
Yeah.
Just to fuck with me.
Yeah.
They all say it's the best fucking cheesesteak I ever had in my life. This thing is off the fucking charts.
Yeah.
I'm not a big cheesesteak guy, and let me tell you something. It's the best cheesesteak I ever fucking had in my life.
The meat makes a difference. When you go to D'Alessandro's,
I'm going to send you guys some meat, and I want you to try it. I'm going to send you guys some meat. I want you to try it and tell me what you think of it.
Oh, I can't. Dude,
compare it to your favorite place.
We should have a meat review. Like, we'll do a blind taste test meat review, and we'll fucking, like, put it out as a video. Dude, hell yeah, John.
That'd be fucking great.
I'd love that. Let's fucking do that.
I would love that.
But there's a reason why D'Alessandro's is perennial one of the top steaks in the city. And it's
D'Alessandro's sucks. They're fucking awful. D'Alessandro's fucking
garbage food.
Garbage fucking steak. It's a garbage pizza steak, and it's fucking sloppy. And let me tell you something.
Cheese is liquidy.
I give Steve's Princess Steaks a thumbs up. I give fucking D'Alessandro's a big fucking thumbs down.
Big pile of trash meat in there.
Big fucking pile of trash meat.
Where is this coming from? Wow.
I'm a cheesesteak aficionado.
It sucks.
Wow. D'Alessandro's, have you ever had Barry's in Barry's is a good steak.
Barry's is a good one.
It's on Leverington?
Yeah.
I think it's on Leverington. And then what about Chubby's? You like Chubby's?
So if you don't feel like waiting in the line for D'Alessandro's, because like everybody's got to go to D'Alessandro's, Chubby's right across the street, and they have a bar, and it's usually not half as busy.
Chubbs has a better steak. I mean, they have a better steak.
Chubby's used to be they're busy. So D'Alessandro's used to not be open on Sundays, and Chubby's was like mobbed on Sundays, right? And like now D'Alessandro's open on Sunday. Dude, I'll tell you this. I didn't see that coming, because last time I had a steak at D'Alessandro's was pretty good, and I always thought because it will be fair. It's been a while, but like, you know, it's a higher end meat. Like, I thought it was a higher end meat, but is that not the case? Because I thought they used prime
Steve's
cut.
Pizza Steak
it's huge. Is what their appeal is.
Yeah,
but it's that like ground beef chopped. Like
all right, it's like that steak shit.
Steve uses what do they use? A fucking ribeye.
Yeah.
Where I don't know what D'Alessandro's uses.
I thought they uses the prime. I thought they used the prime cut.
I couldn't get the taste of it. I use a good sirloin, and it's a really, really good. It's a top sirloin, and it's really nice, and it's perfectly like it's a perfect fat to meat ratio. It's really
my god, bro. So, all right. So I'll tell you, there's this one place. So a couple months ago that we had the godfather of meat, Mike Finelli. We had him on the show. And he's like a major like food influencer on TikTok. He has like millions of followers and like, you know, people like he's sponsored by Weber Grills, and he did the Dietz and Watson deli tour where he went to all the different delis in the city and they had a custom sandwich for him, right? Like really big, like, you know, and he gave us some of his top 5 cheesesteaks in the city. And one of them was this place in the Northeast called Diane's. And I went there and dude, it was pretty good steak.
Pretty good steak.
Yeah. But I'm excited to try. Ooh. So in the Northeast on Cottman, Ernie's, right?
Yes.
Nice. All right, cool. So dude, I'm going to look that shit up and see when they're open till. But
yeah, I want to know.
So, okay. So dude, that's fucking, I think too, that's going to raise the game because I would pay an extra 50 cents to have like a grass-fed top sirloin meat from fucking Nebraska, right? Like a good piece of meat over some fucking steakums, right? Mm-hmm. Like the steakums gimmick, that's just like, it's like, dude, it's like gut rot, like, what the fuck? Gut rot. It's like gut rot. You know what I mean? Like that fucking, it's like Mad Dog 2020 steaks. You know, like that's
I'm about 70 cents cheaper per pound than every place out there.
What? And the quality is still that much better?
The quality's great. And it's just
and then it's because you're cutting out the middleman?
Cutting out the middleman. And like I said, the guy who has the steaks wants to take Philadelphia over. He's like, I want you to take Philadelphia over, John, and this is what we're going to do.
I want to sell cheesesteak meat. I sell medical equipment. It's boring. I love cheesesteaks.
Yeah.
What do you do? You need a suburb guy?
Yeah. Dude, I wouldn't be surprised when we have you back on in a year from now when you have 3 trucks. You know what I mean? And you got every shop. Because this meat is the fucking. Dude,
I do it because I'm having a lot of fun doing this. I have a lot of fun. I mean, it's great. I'm having a time of my life. It's actually a lot of fun to do.
Dude, I'm so happy awesome for you, man. Like that's one thing that me and Justin have found doing this show is that usually the happiest and most successful people are the people that do what they like for a living, like what they do for a living, right? Like there's, like there are some people that are successful, but maybe not as happy because they're working at a job and they have dickhead boss or whatever, right? But the people that come on here that like what they're doing and are passionate about their job and are like really, really like working hard are those people are just like, you see it, that they're living a better quality of life. Half
the guests, I'm like, can I work? I want to work there.
I'll tell you, not for nothing. I get to build something. So every day I'm building, I'm selling, I'm building and getting. I love it because it's building up. It's a great thing to create and build something. And I love this. I just love,
dude,
really awesome. Like it.
Yeah. Fucking dude, I'm so happy for you, man. Hopefully we get the word out. So what's the brand of meat?
It's called Gary's Quick Steak.
Gary's Quick Steak. Find the shops. There's Ernie's on Cottman in the Northeast. They have Ernie's Quick Steak meats. Try them. Let them know, right? Let us know on Twitter and TikTok at Working P Pod or on Instagram, Work Perspectives Podcast, what you think. I cannot wait to try this steak and let you know. This is going to be great. So I want to keep it moving. And before we get out of here, I want to talk about the gym, right? Well, I want to talk about this. So what's the day in the life like for you now, John? So you wake up, you head to the warehouse in K&A, and then
I wake up. It's actually on American Street, but it's not far.
I know where you're at. I know where you're at. Yeah. You're adjacent. You're a K&A adjacent.
Yeah. So I just got to be careful going down and getting my product. But yeah, I go down, get my product, and go out and sell and talk to people all day. And that's my day. And it's not long. I make my own hours. So, I'm out there probably takes me, I'm home by 4 or 5 o'clock and just out there getting my stuff done. And I love it. I mean,
do your rounds, visit a couple people.
What's that?
Do your rounds, visit a couple people.
Exactly.
Check in on a guy if you're in the area.
Sure. Absolutely.
Yeah.
cool.
Dude, that's great, man. And like you have a rapport with these people, and like they know you and they like you, right?
Yeah.
Like you're doing, you're happy, and like the success is coming because you like working there and you like doing it and you don't mind, and like you're giving them, it's another thing like you were doing with your brother. You saw a need and you created a service to fulfill that need. This is like the entrepreneurship is where it's headed, right? Like you got the box truck, right? Like no one's making you do these hours. You know what you have to do. You're talking with these people. You're communicating. You're the one shilling this fucking 300 pounds of steak everywhere. You know what I mean? Right? Like,
and thousands of pounds every day. Do thousands of pounds.
Thousands of pounds.
But it keeps you in shape, and there's money in it. I mean, it's there's some money in it. So nice.
you wake up, right? Like your stops. You hit the warehouse. You know exactly how much meat you're gonna need, right? You get it. Then you take it to the place. They sign the waiver, give you a check or whatever the fuck it is, and then you put the check in, and then you're golden, right?
I'm good. Boom, boom, boom. Dude.
So nice. All right. So let's keep it moving then. So I want to talk about this one place. So I brought it up when we were doing the intro. Renzo Gracie PA Academy in Hatfield. That's where me and John met. It's really like a really special place for both of us. John, you've been there. I've been there 14 years. You've been there longer than I have, right? How long? 16 years you've been there?
About 16, 17 years. I've been there a long time.
Yeah. So there's the way it goes is that when you do Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu at the gym, they have two different types, right? There's Ghee and Nogi, right? So for those people listening, the Ghee is like the Karate Kid pajamas. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And I would always get flack for that because they were like, they would ask me like, when you going to, get your belts and start? And I'm like, I'm never putting those fucking pajamas on in my life, right? Like I'm not doing it. Right.
I don't like the Ghee. I respect guys that do it. It probably advances your game. It makes you better. But I'm just not a Ghee guy. I'd rather not have the Ghee on. I feel it restrictive. I'm older. People don't realize doing jiu-jitsu at my age. It takes a toll on your hands. It takes a toll on your body, and the Ghee is, like I said, people can grab you. It's you're grabbing this cloth and you're pulling it and tugging it. And by the end of the night, it's like my hands are like, oh, fuck, man. You know what I mean? So I've always been a no-gi guy, and I like it. It's faster.
Dude, I tell people that are starting jiu-jitsu for the first time, I was like, you might want to have someone drive you home because your forearms are going to be so cranked after your first session that you're not going to be able to grip the steering wheel. You know what I mean? Like the forearms the whole workout's incredible. But so you've been there for 16 years. You don't have your black belt, but I've seen you go, right? And like, dude, I don't like the Ghee. I don't like wearing no shoes. Like I'll even do jiu-jitsu with shoes on and people look at me like I'm a fucking noob. I'm like, hey, fuckhead, if you can't tap me, then shut your fucking mouth. Maybe you should put some shoes on, right? But like, I don't know. I just never liked the bare feet thing. Even when I fought in the cage, I fucking hated it. But either way, when you're doing the jiu-jitsu, you've been there so long and everyone knows you and they know like your level. You don't have a black belt. You don't have a brown belt, but you're at the equivalent of those guys.
I do have a brown belt.
Oh, I never wear it.
No, I don't. I'm not in the Ghee. I don't even know how I got it because I'm never in the Ghee.
Rich was just like, look, you just fucking take this.
If you see my stuff, I mean, it doesn't have marks on it. Doesn't have anything on it.
Yeah.
But
dude,
I can hold my own in the gym with much younger guys. I mean, these guys are young and I just.
So this is one thing we brought up on the show, right? And it's the reoccurring legend. And this is the exact thing I've been talking about, right? When you talk to John and you see John isn't 6'10", right? He's like 5'10", normal height, right? And he's not fucking Johnny steroids, right? He's just normal, built, really in shape, really lean, in shape guy, right? But if you were some student on the street trying to fucking get slick, right? And you try to get slick with John, it is going to be a long night for you. I promise.
Try and take John's Gary's quick beef. He's gonna
Gary's quick
put you right in the back of that French truck.
Oh yeah, buddy.
It's just not me. I am. I would walk away before I would.
Sure.
And I mean, if somebody starts, I would if it was my girl or my daughter or something like that.
Right.
It's a whole different.
He just means that the mild mannered look. Don't be deceived by it. I can fold you in half if I wanted to.
Dude, it's just like we talked about dental build. And I think Eddie Bravo said it, nerd assassins. I forget who said it, but some like high level jiu-jitsu guys, like these jiu-jitsu guys are just breeding nerd assassins. Because you wouldn't think like this fucking guy could he could legit make you pass out and piss yourself, right? Like you wouldn't see that looking at some of these guys, but that's what it would be. And you don't know anymore. You just don't know. So people out there should be polite. But either way, before we got here, John, I think you had did you have a story about Dental Bill that you wanted to share on the show?
Oh, yeah. Billy's a good friend, and he's a
shout out, fan of the show, listen to the show.
Yeah, he's a great dude.
Great dude.
Billy's big fantastic.
Fan. Yeah.
I was talking to Rich and me. I'd walked into the gym and we were just talking about shit. Me and
so real quick, sorry to interrupt you, John. Rich Latta is the owner of the Renzo Gracie PA Academy. So that when you say Rich, he's the owner of the gym. Yeah. He's also manages the fighters, and he's the head trainer of most of the fighters and the cut man and the corner man. So when there's like what he'll do is he'll set up like different camps. When in training camp, we'll go to different gyms and things like that. Sorry to interrupt, John. So you're at the gym, you're talking to Rich. Go ahead.
I'm at the gym. Me and Rich are talking. We're rapping, going back and forth. And he starts laughing about Bill. And he starts talking about Billy. He goes, he goes, Billy came walking in the other day. I'm teaching this MMA class and I'm bringing them down to the city to see these, to spar with these guys at this other gym. He goes, these guys they have 4 and 5 fights under their belt. And he goes, and I'm bringing a couple of the fighters that got upcoming fights. I'm bringing them down to the gym, and Bill walks in. So I said to Billy, Billy, you want to come down to the gym? We're going to Philly, but I want you to be careful if you do decide to come because, these guys have 4 and 5 fights under their belt.
UFC guys.
They're fighters. They're
it's
these guys, they have a name for
Daniels.
Yeah. Exactly. They have a name for themselves. And these guys are, some pretty tough guys. And, I don't, he wasn't sure if he wanted to. He goes, John, I wasn't sure if I wanted to bring him down with me or not. And he goes, so Bill goes, yeah, I want to go. So brought Bill down to the gym and he goes, we're down there, everybody's sparring and going around. He goes, I look over in the octagon and they have about 5 or 6 fighters milling around. And he goes, all of a sudden, Bill's sparring with this one guy and he's beating the living shit out of him. He goes, and then he gets done sparring with the next guy and he says he's beating the shit out of him. He goes, he went through all them fighters that had 4 and 5 fighters and literally knocked the shit out of all of them.
Yeah.
And I said, that's just fucking Bill, man. It's just,
he's just really so fucking, I cannot wait to get him on the show. But he's the dude. He's one of those guys. He's quiet, mild mannered. But once you know him, he's a fucking riot, dude.
He's a riot. He's the best. I love Billy.
Big fan. Love Bill, and I love that we keep spreading the legend of Dental Bill. And I want more people to hear about it because it's the truth. Don't underestimate anybody. Because dude, I've seen him work right. Like the guys he's taught, Daniel Gracie's right now. There was just a fight card that happened like 2 weeks ago. Well, during time of recording, it was like 2 weeks ago. There was a UFC fight. 2 of the fighters that won, I think Brady, maybe Sean Brady, and Steve knows their names, but they're Daniel Gracie fighters, and that beat like the number 8 ranked guy in the world. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not saying he beat up those guys, but he's beating that caliber of fighter up. And this guy's just a fucking dentist, right? But he's a dentist that goes to every training session, doesn't miss any classes.
Oh, he used to do 3 and 4 classes. Never. I tell everybody too, like Billy is somebody that really had to work hard. Like I'm somebody that really had to work hard to even get you. I mean, it's tough. And I mean, like it's different for a guy like Mike Padilla, who is like naturally athletic, naturally gifted. You know what I mean? He's just, it's just he wrestled his whole life, and it was a great, it's different for a guy to come in off of this, and just be a normal guy and to have to do it. It's not easy for a normal guy to go into jiu-jitsu and learn jiu-jitsu and be really good at it.
I'll tell you, and it's one of those things where it's like, he was legit baptism under fire because that son of a bitch had to take some fucking shellackings when he first was coming up.
I used to kill him when he first came in.
Dude,
I'd choke him out every 2 minutes. I would be choking him to death.
He was one of those guys.
And then he just got better and better and better and better, and he worked hard. He'd be there when I got there. He'd be there when I'd leave.
Yep.
He'd be there. It was constantly.
Dude, I would open the gym. He's like first there, waiting in the parking lot, first there, work, does like, if you want to be fucking great, go to every class and you'll be the best. Like, he is legit. Like, I can't say enough good things about him, but so enough smoking fucking dental bills, fucking smeege. Let's keep it moving. So we're coming to the top of time. And, Justin, you and me are usually on the same page with this. But, John, we would love to have you back on if you'd be willing to come back on.
Yeah, I loved it. I had a great time, man.
Dude,
we'll get the background up in the back.
That's all right. But we'd love to have your lady on, too. Shout out. Yeah. She's the best. Yeah. We'll have her on. And then we'll have you both on at the same time. We'll do a little couples therapy. What do you think?
We need it. Yeah.
Yeah, right. So, also, to try Gary's Quick Steaks, Ernie's on Cotman in the Northeast. Check him out. I looked it up. Ernie's is 3 minutes away from my fucking house. So nice. I'm fucking gonna get one. Yeah, man. I'm gonna do a steak there. But no, dude, I tell you what, man, I've known you for a long time. I've literally never seen you like this happy about work and life. And I'm fucking super happy for you, man. Super proud of you.
Brother. You're a good friend and you're a great guy. And I enjoyed being on. And we're talking something other than fantasy football. We talk a lot of fantasy football together.
But like also like, dude, I remember that one time we had a sparring session. We used to do Friday night sparring sessions, and you guys would roll, and then afterwards you would watch, right? And I forget who it was, but I was in the cage with this one kid, and I remember he was a nice kid, but he was a fucking mouth. Right. And he would like talk and act like just like attention seeking and that kind of shit in there. It doesn't fly. You know what I mean? A lot of respect. Yeah. Yeah. You got to respect. Like, hey, you can have an attitude and you can be confident and that's fine, but you need to be fucking respectful. Right. Yeah. So I just remember we were going one night on and he had he had been mouthy or something. And I fucking ripped him with a body shot. Right. And you guys were watching and I looked over and I looked at you and I was like, I just remember after I did it, I looked over and you were just like, Jesus Christ. And you got up and you're like,
I said, that's going to hurt him next week. I said, that's hurt him in the next week.
Yeah. No, the kid was a nice kid, but fucking, you got to learn to behave right in certain places. Yeah, you can't be mouthing, especially not to the older guys there, No,
you got to be cool there. I mean, I think every place like that, you have to be respectful towards everybody. I mean, and you have to get along with everybody. I mean, it's just like, because we're like brothers. I mean, we're like brothers that fight all the time. I think it's cool, though. If you love your brother and you just,
True. And sometimes there's lessons learned, but then you're stronger for it. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
It's just how it is. So we're coming to the top of time. John, loved having you on. Before we get out of here, is there anything that you'd want to say to the adoring public before we take off?
Just hi to everybody in jiu-jitsu. Hi to everyone. I'm here. Had a great time. Definitely cool. Thanks, guys, so much for having me, man. I love being on with you guys. You guys are cool as shit. Love you guys.
This is cool, man.
Right back at you. Right back at you. So, JDub, anything you want to say to the legions of your adoring fans before we get out of here?
No, this was cool. I had a good time. I want some Gary Quick Steaks.
Dude, I'm telling you, I am fiending for a fucking Gary's Quick Steak.
I love it.
This has been another episode of the Working Perspectives Podcast. I'm Matt Lavelle, accompanied by JDub, Justin Richardson, and our guest today was the one and only John Derito. You can find all our stuff and all our content on all podcast platforms and YouTube at Working Perspectives Podcast. You can have us on Instagram at Working Perspectives Podcast, and you can join us on the Twitter and the TikTok at Working P Pod. If you'd like to be a guest on the show, then please email us at workingperspectives@gmail.com. And please, God, just get her off my back and like and subscribe so that my wife leaves me alone. All right. Thanks for listening. Stick around for the ad read. Thanks. See ya.
Do you have a message or a story inside of you that you've been waiting to tell? Have you always dreamed of writing a book but are intimidated by the complexities of the book publishing world? Perhaps you want to use a book to launch your public speaking or consulting career. If so, please reach out to Scott and Bell Publishing, located right here in beautiful Philadelphia, Pennsylvania. Scott and Bell Publishing handle all genres and authors with all experience levels. Scott and Bell Publishing gives authors 100% creative freedom and a higher royalty split. They can be found at www.skotbell.com. That's www.s as in Sam, K as in Kite, O as in October, T as in Tom, B as in Boy, E as in Edward, L as in Larry, L as in Larry.com. That's Scott and Bell Publishing, where the authors go.